Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Was Raised by His Father, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. The fourth looked at Sakura for a few moments, and then before Sakura could blink, a yell was heard and she noticed Naruto being held by Arashi. It seems he had stopped trying to think, but that was his downfall, and Arashi used his Shunshin no Jutsu, and seemingly had grabbed Naruto. Sakura hadn't even fully finished blinking when he was gone. She had heard body flicker was impossible to evade or to see, but this was out of hand. Never in her life she thought she would ever see anyone be able to use it to its full potential. Arashi held Naruto in a headlock and refused to let him go. He looked proud. This was the first time in so long he was able to use body flicker like that. Naruto on the other hand was speechless. He was in totally shock. He was confused. He had just passed Arashi down the road. It would have been impossible for him to get there that fast until. What do you think you are doing, to idiot? Yelled Arashi as he dragged the blonde sorry ass down the stairs. Arashi was still holding Naruto tightly now by his upper part of his arm, and dragging his along down the street, while many on the way looked and whispered, and continued their business while Naruto was just speechless. Never he thought in any life would the blonde drag him down the road, and before that telling him just to shut up. Arashi turned another corner, till they had passed Sakura, who had wide eyes as she looked from Naruto the older blonde. Naruto looked at Sakura for a moment till he realized she must have told him about Sasuke and he used his Shunshin no Jutsu to stop him, but why? What was the reason the Hokage himself would stop Uzumaki Naruto from doing what he wanted? It didn't make sense. Why was the Hokage caring about him? Sure, so people cared about Naruto, but why the fourth Hokage among all people? To care this much, it didn't make sense. The Hokage finally stopped at the gates of the village and then continued to walk before making tighter grip, and within seconds Naruto felt sick, and the suddenly stopped and felt very dizzy and was standing on the border of the fire country. And felt the Hokage let go not light but hard, and then an eerie silence came when Naruto finally came to all his senses. He looked at the Hokage, who was looking past the border of fire country. Why did you take me out of Konoha? Asked Naruto as he slightly backed away from the fourth. Naruto, you must understand, if you have to go after Sasuke you might as well do it now, rather than go to the fifth, because she will lock you away. And the Anbu will come after you. You do know that, Naruto, if you ever leave you will be marked in their bingo books, said Arashi. I don't care about rules and regulations, You're just not thinking. That's what you are doing, said Arashi harshly as he glared at Naruto. I am. No you're not, yelled Arashi even louder. Quote. Of course you know rules and regulations are important, but that's not all there is to it, said Arashi. I'll tell you, you must also be able to adapt and cope with the situation, and the most important thing to a shinobi is teamwork, Naruto. I know that. Then you leaving one team member isn't teamwork, is it? Your friend is an Uchiha. Am I right? Yes. Well, he left for power, for something he believed he had to do no matter what, Naruto, and do you even know where to find him? By the time you come close to even finding him, he will be long gone, and Anbu will be after you, and catch you before you ever see Sasuke again. I know you're going to tell me off, but before you go trying to find him I just want you to think, Naruto, just think, nothing more. If you go now, you give up on everything you have worked for. You lose in the end, Naruto. If you go after him, you will lose in life. Are you willing to give up your dream as Hokage for this guy who nearly killed you, and almost did again, just to bring him back where he will not stay? Let him come back on his own. Even if the bloody snake Sannin uses him, that is what he wished. No. To K his brother. If you find a way for you not to betray Konoha and the Hokage's wishes, I will help you, said Arashi as he looked down at Naruto. You would help me? Yes. I don't understand something. What is that? Why do you care so much? Why do you care for my safety? There has to be a reason behind it. Just because you were my mother's friend, you care more than a friend should. I don't understand why you bother to protect me, said Naruto as he looked at the Hokage in the eye. That, Naruto, you will have to find out on your own, smiled Arashi as he started to walk when he suddenly stopped. Naruto, I want you to stay here and think what you truly want, not what others want, just what you want, said Arashi as he disappeared, in no time. What I want, said Naruto in a low whisper as he looked out at the sunset, and then fell on his butt and crossed his legs and started to really think. Arashi arrived back into the town in mere moment, and looked around. Most people were still on the road. Then from behind he felt something, a strange, unwanted presences, and quickly turned to see a gray-haired ninja looking at him with wide eye and looking at him for a few moments, then shaking his head and laughed a bit to himself and walked up to him and said, Naruto, I thought you were serious when you said you saw the fourth, but this is silly using a technique to look like him, said Kakashi as he looked at the fourth. I am the fourth. Is that you, Kakashi? Well, you do look older than me, said Arashi as he looked at his student. It had been true, a few people had told Arashi that Kakashi looked older than him. That's quite enough, Naruto. I am not Naruto, how can I prove it to you? Said Arashi as he looked at Kakashi, who removed his hand from the fourth shoulder and thought for a moment. How did I get the Sharingan? Asked Kakashi. He knew Naruto wouldn't know the answer because he never told anyone. You're a real pain at times, Kakashi. You got that Sharingan from your friend Obito. You first lost that eye for seriously hurt it during a mission and you went into battle, even though I strictly told you not to. And I saved your life, only causing you a minor injury in your eye and shoulder. If I can remember. And when you were running away, after you and Obito saved Rin, you were running and a boulder fell, and you never saw it, then Obito pushed you out of the way. And caused himself to have the right side of his body crushed, and he told you to take it, when he just learned how to use it that day, and Rin put his eye to yours. Said Arashi looking at Kakashi, who couldn't believe his ears. Sensei. Come Kakashi, let's sit down and have a long and well-needed talk about why you are reading those books, said Arashi as he was now holding Kakashi's book and was flipping through the pages. And followed. Sakura hadn't seen Naruto for about 2 days now, since the Hokage had literally dragged him down the road. And when she asked what happened to him, he just looked out past the horizon, and always said, he's spending time, alone trying to figure out his life, that's all she would ever get. And it was starting to really bug her. The fifth was starting to get a little annoyed in not knowing where Konoha's number one annoying ninja was. And yet, Arashi would always tell her the same thing. Sakura was standing at the entrance of the giant gate and looking in the distance, thinking Arashi had taken the blonde boy somewhere, and she was right. In the distance she saw a blonde wearing orange pants and walking while holding an orange coat and an lace that was glittering in the light. Naruto! Yelled Sakura as she ran towards Naruto, who seemed to have a small smile played across his features. And then instantly stopped when noticing Sakura. Hey Sakura, smiled Naruto as he looked at the pink-haired girl. Where have you been? I was told to think about my life, and what I wanted. For 2 days. Has it been 2? I thought I was gone only a few hours, smiled Naruto as he laughed and rubbed the back of his head. Naruto. Don't worry Sakura, I won't go back on my word, but I have to do something in order to bring him back, okay? And maybe, nothing, smiled Naruto as he walked along. Tell me, Sakura, do you still find me annoying after all this time? Asked Naruto as he looked down at her. Annoying? Yes. Do you? I remember quite well, I asked you to eat with me, the first day we became a team, and you called me annoying. Said Naruto as he looked back towards Konoha. I used to, I really did, but I guess after a while you didn't seem so annoying, said Sakura. I see, so it's true you can't always judge a book by its cover, eh? Said Naruto, who had thought about that a lot. Until he felt something odd behind him. Sakura had felt it to a strange presences. They both spun around, kunai in hand ready for battle, but nothing was there. They both looked at each other confused. And then quickened their pace and quickly went back inside the safety of the gates. Where they found a blonde Hokage waiting. Hey, smiled Naruto as he walked up to see a grim face plastered across the Hokage's face. Fourth, what happened? Asked Sakura as he and Naruto looked at the Hokage. Naruto, Sakura, I have just been informed that Asuma Sarutobi has passed on. I know Naruto was told in a different way, yes I read how he SD, but this is my story, and I make him S any way I want. Well, that sounds kinda bad for me to say. Sakura and Naruto stood there in mortal shock. How could this happen? Sure, neither of them really knew him, only through Shikamaru, and that was about it, but now they find out he was passed on. The town seemed to be quiet that day, a little too quiet. They had found out he SD on a mission from 2 Akatsuki members. Naruto had wanted to find Shikamaru but couldn't be found anywhere. They all stood there later that day. Most of Konoha stood there to pay their respects to Asuma, and Kurenai stood before the grave just knelt there. Life had seemed to stop. So many deaths had resulted more than it should. It is told that a ninja will S on a mission, and others will to trying to protect one. Naruto had asked a question when the third had SD, he asked why do ninja S to protect others. Somewhere along the lines of that, and he was told that the reason ninjas protect one another, is because once a person SS, their future, the present and their past is gone. Naruto stood there, and looked around. Shikamaru was nowhere to be found. He heard Ino in the background asking where he was, but he never heard the answer that came, because there before his eyes the fourth went up in his black outfit and knelt down next to the woman, and she seemed to speak something before breaking down into tears again and start to cry uncontrollably onto his shoulder while he just stayed to comfort her. The funeral ended, people went their separate ways, but Naruto stayed behind with the fourth, who was now looking up towards the huge carving of himself. He seemed to stay like that for quite a long time until Naruto came up from behind him and stood next to him. What are you thinking about? Different things. Mind sharing. Have you got the time? Smiled the Hokage as he looked at him. Yeah, I'm just thinking, Naruto, it's nothing special. You look depressed, and when people are depressed I heard you should talk about it, smiled Naruto as he looked at the fourth. If I should take back my place. What do you mean? As in Hokage? Yes, why wouldn't you? That was your dream when you were a boy, right, and you were Hokage. Until I SD, I know. So why not, Ta? Why not take it again? Because I had my chance, Naruto, and tomorrow was supposed to be the day I am rightfully Hokage again. But I realized I had my chance at it once, and all people get is one chance, and I shouldn't even be here right now. It wasn't my choice to come back, none of this was. I never meant to cause pain, but that's just how things happen, and I understand. Fourth, could you tell me something? What is that? What happens after you know? Asked Naruto. That, Naruto, you will have to find out on your own, said Arashi as he turned his back to the faces and started to walk. Ah, come on and tell me. Naruto, that would be defying the laws, said Arashi as he continued to walk. So, what am I going to do with you, Naruto? Naruto stood before the Hokage's heads. He looked at them fondly from atop some of the buildings. There were 5 faces there. He knew them all too well: the first Hokage, the second Hokage, the third Hokage, the fourth Hokage, the fifth Hokage. Naruto knew only of the 3, the third, the fourth and the fifth. He would have only known 2, but then he came. Ever since the fourth had come, Naruto's life went upside down. He didn't know why, but he felt more calm around the Hokage. He was currently homeless for a while now, because the storm Sakura had spoken of took out his whole district. The whole building and the ones around from it were either gone or about to fall down. He didn't have anywhere to go. Kiba was gone, and so was Hinata, not that he would be allowed to stay anyways. As well, Shino was gone too. Shikamaru was never anywhere to be found, and his mom wasn't to found of Naruto anyways, and well, no one's parents were. Most of the generation his age had no idea why, but he did, as well as Sakura and Sasuke. They were the only ones besides Gaara. But Gaara was the same as him, a vessel for a demon. While Gaara has the one-tailed demon raccoon, Naruto has the 9-tailed fox, the most powerful of all. Out of all the 9-tailed beasts. As said in the manga, as Naruto stood there, he started to doubt whether his dream of becoming Hokage would ever come true. Naruto stood there for 3 solid hours just dreaming of the day he would become Hokage and the village would respect him. So, kid, how long have you been here? Asked a blonde ninja as he walked up from behind Naruto and put his hands on his hips and looked at him. Gahh, where did you come from? You're just like Kakashi when it comes to let's sneak up behind people and scare the crap out of them. Yelled Naruto as he held his chest from being scared. So, why are you looking at that cliff so hard? Asked Arashi as he stood next to Naruto and looked at the cliff. Because, you ugly face is throwing the whole thing off, now. If mine was there, then it would be something to look at, smiled Naruto as he got a shove from the right, from Arashi. Now Naruto, you know how I told you I wouldn't become Hokage again? Yeah, well, There seems to be a weird flaw in my decision making. What are you talking about? Even though I am Hokage, I never really read all the rules. Such as I must retire, and when I do I must name a Hokage to take my place. But, they have a Hokage. Yes, well, it seems when I never chose anyone, so her and I have to choose who is the next Hokage, and I must retire at the young age of 29, what a cruel fate. Are you telling me, you and Granny have to choose the next Hokage? Yes, someone who can control their chakra and would be respected by the villagers, and as well know they would protect it with their life, said Arashi. So, who is it? Dunno, that's why I want you to help me, Naruto, you know everyone, don't you? All the strongest ninja. Yes, so, then you will be my slave for the day. And if I don't, you need a place to stay, right? Yes, I have 14 bedrooms, and 12 of them are not in use. I could offer you a place, but in return, I have to help you, said Naruto gloomily. Cheer up, Naruto. It will be fun. Yeah, great. Ha ha ha, kid, I am starting to like you, smiled Arashi as he jumped down and landed softly on the ground and put his hands in his pockets, trying to think of good candidates. Oi, what do you mean you're starting to like me now? Yelled Naruto as he ran behind the Hokage. Who should be first? Name some of them, will you? Okay, so there's Master Iruka, Jiraiya, Kakashi Hatake, Shikamaru Nara, Asuma Sarutobi. And that's all I can think of that would make good candidates, said Naruto. Asuma Sarutobi is S, and Iruka, I remember him all too well, I saved him that day of the attack against Konoha. And I have watched over him the past week. No, I am sorry to say he can't. Oh, and isn't Nara Shikamaru your age? Yes, but he is one of the smartest shinobi I know, ask anyone, he can watch a person fight and know most of all their attacks, and what they plan to do next. His IQ is over 200, and actually, I don't think he would make a good Hokage, he would. It's just he tried to give up a few times becoming a ninja when his girlfriend made him think it through after several beatings. Said Naruto, taking a deep breath. So that leaves Kakashi and Shikamaru. What about the old pervert? No. Why? Did you ever hear the story behind the story of how they chose the fifth Hokage? No. Thought not. Well, Jiraiya had been asked before anyone when the third SD, to become the next Hokage. But he turned it down, he didn't want to become Hokage, he told the elders that he wouldn't do it, and told them that the fifth soon it would make an even better Hokage. That is why you and the old pervert went on that mission you did, was to her, because he was the only one who could find her. And if he hadn't he would have become Hokage, and you wouldn't have been able to do the Rasengan now, would you? Or have gotten the first Hokage's Enlace. So are you going to choose Kakashi as the Naruto? How about I treat you to a bowl of ramen? Yes, ramen, yelled Naruto as he jumped around joyfully with his fists in the air, and speaking under his voice. Ramen, 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 ramen. Seriously, Arashi, don't, he's going to S if he keeps eating that, said Kakashi, who appeared next to Naruto, who shot him a glare. The kid deserves it, because he needs fuel to learn a new jutsu, smiled Arashi, as Naruto looked at him with wide and hopeful eyes. Ramen and a new TECHQUIE. Yelled Naruto happily while Kakashi read his book. Kakashi, said Arashi as he looked at his former student. Yes, if you could sum up Naruto in 7 words, what would you? Number 1, loudest, unpredictable, hyperactive knuckleheaded ninja, said Kakashi, finishing the 4th sentence. Arashi, I need to speak to you, said Tsunade as she walked up to the 4th. Okay, Naruto, Kakashi, I will be back in a few minutes, go on without me, smiled Arashi as he looked at the two. Naruto gave his normal cat-like look, closed eyes and thinking face, and placed his hands behind his head and kept walking along with Kakashi. What is it? I have to tell you something about Naruto's training with Kakashi. Recently, Kakashi has been training Naruto to alter the nature of his chakra, in order for Naruto to create a jutsu that is unique to him. Naruto has to go through a rigorous training process that normally takes 20 or more years to complete. This, however, is achieved in around a week through a training technique that Kakashi makes up. Naruto makes 1,000 clones of himself and they all train at the same time. Since each clone is linked to each other, once they are dispersed, the knowledge they gain is distributed to all of the others, similar to distributed computing. As you know. Okay, I understand so far. The point of this exercise is to give Naruto the ability to control the elemental nature of his chakra. In the Naruto world, there are 5 types of chakra, each with a weakness and a strength, similar to rock, paper, scissors. Naruto's elemental affinity is the wind type, the strongest attacking type. Wind types are strong against lightning types and weak against fire types. The first part of Naruto's training involves him and his many clones trying to cut a leaf in their hands with chakra alone. During this time, Naruto also seeks advice from Asuma, who is another person with wind type affinity. After a while, he disperses every single clone, allowing him to gain all their knowledge at once, but also causing extreme mental fatigue. He does this again to complete his training. The second part of Naruto's training involves the same technique, but with a much bigger object, in this case, a waterfall Yamato had earlier created. At first he fails to even stop the water, but an argument with Kakashi over the need to get stronger than Sasuke makes Naruto even more determined. That night, Naruto sees a shooting star and is reminded why he is doing this training. Naruto gets up and resumes his training. By daybreak, Naruto and his clones split the waterfall all the way across, completely severing it from side to side. With the second step done, Naruto can start creating his first original jutsu. Before they begin, however, Kakashi reveals that he can perform the spiraling sphere. He explains that the ultimate purpose of the fourth jutsu was to combine both the form manipulation and nature manipulation of one's chakra into an extremely powerful jutsu. However, the fourth was unable to complete the jutsu, and the spiraling sphere was the maximum that both the fourth and Kakashi were able to achieve. This means that Naruto will have to, from now on, train by himself. Kakashi then tells Naruto that he can do it, for if there was anyone who can surpass the fourth, it's him. He admits that this is not mere motivation, but his true beliefs. So, Kakashi said all that. Naruto is the only one, eh? Smiled Arashi. Yes, that jutsu, not even I could do it, no matter what I tried it, where you use clones, but unlike Naruto I neither have that much chakra or stamina. I believe in what he said, but I hate being surpassed, said Arashi. But why all this training? You do know about Akatsuki, don't you? Yes. Do not tell me they are after Naruto. Yes, but that is why I want you to watch over him. He may be a brat, Arashi, but you need to watch over him. He had learned the jutsu, but he needs more help on it. I understand, but I can't let him do the jutsu anymore. I need to inspect his seal to ensure it won't break. I know. All right then. Thank you, Yondaime. Yes, well, if that seal does break, then he is just as the villagers said, a cold-hearted monster, not as a hero. What I know is if I don't try and reseal that seal a certain way, then one day he could try and protect the village he loves, but end up destroying it. Yes, I know. So what do we? You do nothing, just leave it to me, smiled Arashi as he patted her back and continued on, but before he did, he used his body flicker and she felt something touch her for a mere half a moment before it was gone. She looked in her pocket and there was a bag full of money with a small tag that said, "You as well, try to repay some debts, and if not, then at least have some fun." Arashi. You will be the death of me, muttered the fifth as she continued to walk away. Leaving Arashi to stand atop the same roof Naruto had done earlier before. He looked around saddened by the view, knowing full well that one day, even by a minor miscalculation, the town could be destroyed, and if he fixes the minor calculation, then maybe, just maybe, one day the village along with the others would live in peace once again. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.